Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of the Brocast, where we give you bite-sized bits of best practices to help you be a better leader and a more effective communicator. I'm your host, Jared Bro. Earlier this week on social media, we asked this question: is it ever okay to write fake quotes for your CEO? Everybody in public relations who's gone to public relations classes were taught by their professors that if you need a quote in a news release, just make that sucker up and pop it in there. Well, is that okay? It was interesting because a lot of people in their replies resented the fact that I used the word fake. But in my opinion, if it isn't a quote of an actual quote, then it's fake. Molly says she wouldn't consider quotes drafted for a CEO in a news release to be fake if the CEO then approves what she wrote. Martin says the word fake is used here to put a negative spin on a useful PR practice. Martin says that when he writes a news release, the first thing he does is he tries to get a real quote from a recent speech. That's a great idea. But he says absent that, he's going to conjure his boss's voice. Bill says, and Bill's thinking kind of like I am, for the most part, fake quotations sound unnatural and add little or no value to the news release, and don't say anything that couldn't have been better said with the prose in the news release. Bill says the most reputable publications won't publish your news release, and they're certainly not going to publish your fake quote. Here's what I'm getting at. Most PR people were taught by their professors to write these quotes, but the quotes sound unnatural. The professors never taught you how to embody passionate words that create an endorphin release that makes you want to charge in the battle. Instead, people write jargon. They collect as many jargony corporate words as they can, and they stuff them into one really bad sentence that says something along the lines of, CEO John Smith is pleased and excited to announce the synergistic opportunities to collaborate with our valued partners. That's such BS. No one talks like that. Although some corporate officials do talk like that, primarily because someone writes a bad speech for them that says that type of thing. You need quotes that inspire. You need quotes that sound like a natural conversation. If you're uncertain what those look like, what they sound like, buy a book of quotes. Buy one from Winston Churchill. He, to the best of my knowledge, never said we need to look for synergistic opportunities to collaborate with our valued partners. He used the type of language that people use in everyday conversations. My goal for you is for you to work on the pithiness and the profoundness of your quotes so that it doesn't sound like you made it up. Now, if you want a good example of what all of these made-up buzzwords are that I hate, look for a video that I published online called The Worst Speech in the World. In fact, let's go ahead and we'll put up the hyperlink here. The Worst Speech in the World is an example of all the words not to use. And I asked you on social media what the worst words were. You'll see them in this speech. That's our thoughts for this week. Thanks for joining us on the Brocast. Make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're joining us every week and giving us your thoughts. We'll be back next week with another great question. For the Brocast, I'm Jared Bro.